meeting of the day. My name is Scott Pittman. I'm the Vice President of Operations for Pinnacle Infotech, and I will once again be the moderator for today's webinar. Today is day 8 of our 9-day web series, Disrupt or Be Eliminated. I want to thank everybody so much for taking the time to attend these events. Without your support, and we really do appreciate everything that you've given. The feedback and the questions that we have been given throughout the series have been wonderful. Much like this event, if you have questions, please put the questions into the question box. We will see them and we will get them answered at the end of the webinar. For those that we don't get to, we will make sure that we email you with an answer to your question. Every question is very important to us. If you'd like to get more information about any of the webinars that you have seen during this series, feel free to drop us an email. We'll get in touch with you, give you more information. We can meet and do online meetings. Anything that we can help support your needs. The webinar today is about web-based estimation. It's important to everyone to win more projects, and with the increase of projects becoming more difficult to estimate correctly because of the size and the tight schedules, we hope that we can share some tools with you to help this happen. We know everyone's looking to efficiently plan finances and throughout the different phases of construction and increase the predictability of completing their projects within budget and on time. Since everyone's looking for expertise related to detailed estimation and quantity takeoff, today's webinar we hope to show you exactly how we do this. Estimation is something that we've been asked to help support for over the last few years. So we started working with some of our clients to help support their needs, and that's why we have decided to make this part of our webinar series. Just a couple of housekeeping needs. This is a 1-hour session. We look to have about 15 to 20 minutes of questions at the end. So again, please submit your questions. We've muted everybody to eliminate the background noise. We look forward to supporting everyone's needs, and we find this very interesting. Today's speakers are going to be Pankaj Soul and Rob Lee. Pankaj is a mechanical engineer associated with Pinnacle for over the last 14 years, and currently one of the lead production delivery heads and manages a team of over 60 people. Rob Lee is a relationship manager located in Denver, Colorado. Brings over 25 years of construction knowledge. Rob is passionate about new challenges, building relationships with his clients, and supporting them in every way. Rob's an expert in BIM, MEP, pre-construction, estimation, and much more. Rob has a great understanding of construction standards from all the years he had in the field. The scope of today's webinar will be the purpose of estimation, comparison between model-based estimation and traditional estimation process, BIM estimation framework, share a few case studies from projects that we've worked on in the past, what type of estimation tools are out there, and some samples of estimation softwares and what they can provide. So from that, I'd like to introduce Mr. Pankaj Soul to take the presentation forward.
Thank you, Scott, for your nice introduction. Good morning to everyone. I welcome you all in today's presentation, that's model-based estimation, tools and services. Let me start this presentation with a nice quote. Another step, change for estimation. Though the technology continually improves, one thing does not change, the need for an estimation. In this presentation, I will be sharing a brief overview of model-based estimation framework, our process and deliverables. So let's start with the very basic purpose of estimation tools. The purpose of estimation can be subdivided into 3 points. The first one is unrealistic demand of estimation. The second one is accuracy, and the third one is streamlined transition from estimation model to construction. Let's talk more about these 3 points. First, statistics of Autodesk's construction block. Estimated global construction output by 2022 is projected as $12.9 trillion. In 2019, US construction industry is owed $1.3 trillion itself. This industry is growing at very rapid pace, and we need tools to support the growth. We see the challenge of unrealistic demand of the estimation, as every day the numerous new jobs they need to estimate and unable to do essentially result in pass away the potential job. With the help of latest technology and tools, estimation can be prepared at very short time with maximum accuracy possible. Another features of successful contractors is able to estimate at the high accuracy, so the projection of cost figure can be foreseen at very early stage of a project. This helps in gather planning and eliminating the possible risk factors. Greater planning, the accuracy of the estimation, and pre-planning helps successful execution of a project. Now, what we can extract more from this new technology form of model-based estimation, as this includes preparation of model for quality, quantity takeoff, and report generation. This model can be further used as an added advantage to take it forward the job when it is awarded. Get ahead with the BIM. So to summarize, why use BIM in estimation? We can say it is to win business and to reduce risks in construction. This process can make life easier for owners, designers, GCs, subcontractors, with improved efficiency and reduce design, cost, and risk factors. Now, if we ask someone to change the process of working or to adopt a new technology, then the first question will come: what is the benefits to adopt new technology or maybe the new process? So let's talk about more on the benefits of model-based estimation. Model-based estimation is relatively new word in industry, though it has been in talks since Autodesk strengthened Revit and other collaborative BIM tools. We can see industry switches from design fit build to design build projects, which narrows the gap between model interpretability and ensure swift transition between engineering and ADC site team. This is more encouraging, as with the help of these tools, we can generate accurate quantity takeoff to bid more accurately and successfully. Now, the second process is automate the process with API. Technology is advanced nowadays, and construction is seeing more and more technical smart aspects to take benefits, such as automating tedious and manual tasks with application program interface, that's API, integration, and algorithm. This will leave more time to review, to visual models and identify the potential risk factors. Using API, an algorithm and proper document trackability, BIM models helps to find right content at your fingertips. So you do not need to scroll through hundreds of pages, as all the information is centralized in one file. With cloud collaboration platform and the technology, estimators, engineers can work simultaneously to make any variance per owner's requirement and share a visual representation to alter certain contents to check how to go with the bid design, which enables estimator to go with more market option with visual outputs. Now, let's talk more about the BIM enterprise sequencing. We know that the BIM ties discipline together, that's quality, schedule, and cost. When a 3D model is visually presentable, the idea of the particular project gets clear, as in a measure rigid strategy could be adopted. Thus, an easier and accurate change management framework can be generated. Now coming to the pre-construction part. Those are constructability analysis, quantity takeoff, cost estimation, project scheduling. The model cloud be analyzed for constructability, and surely the industry gives pause to encourage early construction involvement in project development. Again, from the detailed 3D model, a more accurate idea of number for the materials and labor cost can be obtained, and hence quantity takeoff is more accurate than conventional method. So one can break down the project into smaller and more accurate units that are easy to estimate. Model-based cost estimation is the complete incorporation of cost estimation infrastructure into BIM model. Such a system requires BIM framework to facilitate its acceptance. As the model is visual presentable and the quantity takeoff is more accurate, the cost estimation should be close to perfect. The model-based estimation should be custom-made for use in project cost control to redefine further cost estimation assumption. And coming to the project scheduling, one can say that the estimators should make decisions about when and what the contractor team will do the production. The work in place depends on availability of resources. As the whole project is virtually ready, one can schedule this entire project. So the process goes from BIM enterprise followed by pre-construction to operation. When it's in 3D modeling stage, we can consider design to build and build to design. In 4D, scheduling and production control, and in 5D, cost planning to the cost control. Now, moving to the next slide, the advantages model-based over traditional estimation process. The method of estimation adds value to the mode of work. From these, linear advantage can be derived into 5 points. Those are chances of error, time consuming, LOD optimization, constructability review, and tedious file management. Let's talk more about this. Since manual interpretations is limited in the model-based estimation than traditional estimation, it's obvious that the chances of human error is less in counting takeoffs and preparation of cost sheet. Accuracy is much higher and you are confident on that. Traditional estimation consists of human calculation of the content or by using the third-party software, which is a tedious task. Using BIM, contractors expect that we can perform takeoffs 3 to 5 times faster than before, while cutting down the overall time to estimate projects by up to 50%. Further, it enables cost estimator to add more value in the earlier phase of planning, where cost calculations are more central to the iterative design process. Nothing is worse than finding a large takeoff only to find out new design or addendum has nullified the errors. Using BIM, design changes can be isolated and evaluated quickly, allowing estimators to reuse model of their previous work while focusing primarily on what is the scope per level or detailing. This is especially useful with design build or integrated project delivery. This alliance between BIM platform and the cost calculation parameters allows the quantity surveyor, estimators, and planners to identify and evaluate the impacts of design issues, risk factors on cost, and stay on the budget. It is also reduces the iterations of estimation, approximations needed, and bidding becomes accurate. BIM model helps to find right contact at your fingertips. You do not need to scroll thousands and hundred pages, as all information is centralized in one file. So the file management system is more dynamic than traditional estimation process. Now, estimation directly from the BIM model. As previously discussed, model-based estimation is genuinely fruitful in various ways. With the help of model-based estimation, one can achieve greater accuracy in terms of cost, quantity, bidding, or with quantity takeoff or labor cost. Also, model-based estimation gives a control over trackability and contingency. And also, discuss further method means greater chances to win the work. The 3D model, we can extract BOP and other parameters. The tendering and bidding are more accurate than conventional method. Planning and scheduling are easier as the project is virtually built up. And one of the most important advantages is cost management. Estimating the cost of almost every stages of the construction process possible with the help of P5D framework, which helps site execution process. Now, the most important area, the process flow of model-based estimation. Now let me show the process in very brief way, including the what are the items that are required to generate the reports with the help of Revit or and fabrication capability. Total work is segregated in 3 phases. The first one is developing framework and setting up database. The second one is modeling and identification of risk factors. And the final and third one is quantification and costing. Let's talk more about all 3 phases. The first phase. The first phase starts with the mutual trust, as the contractors need to share their fabrication database or region-based material catalog with pricing, preferred fabrication, and installation standard data. After availing the data, the team creates or gathers the information regarding the catalog shared, like generating the fittings, accessories, equipments, and other installation or site-related items. Now, creation of database or adding parameters to the items related to the cost code, unique tagging, fabrication, labor and installation, cost generation is the first phase of the process flow diagram. This is the main time consuming work of all three phases and should be done based on the client provided data. Structure of this phase should be arranged in such a way so that it creates a template based on the client information and can be reused when the same client will approach to repetitive job. The second phase starts with BIM modeling of the entities based on the design documents or bidding documents shared with team. This requires good industry experiences as there is very little scope of questions being answered by engineers. So the best practices should be applied in case of any issues. One of the biggest plus point of this type of estimation relies on being able to identify construction issues at this earlier stage, which could lead to higher labor and other costs. Completing the model with parametric components and all specifications will end this phase. When you enter the third phase, this is the final phase, consists of generating quantity takeoff, reports, the putting algorithm and customized reports as required from the model data. Using the model-based quantity takeoff and labor factors, our fabrication shop and site can get the cost after adding some soft factors like logistic cost, unit factors, subcontractor costs and others. One added advantage of the virtual design or BIM team of your company is to jump start the project when it is awarded with an already generated model for your fabricated standard or database will be given a leap forward. Now, we have already shared that in BIM stage to prepare 3D model requires good industry experience as there is very little scope of questions being answered by engineers. So the best practice should be applied in case of any issues. Try to prepare any model. We try to arrange a kickoff meeting where we try to ask about the service specification to prepare our database based on which the model will be created. If the service specification is not available, we can prepare model with the help of generic fitting and accessories. We try to prepare our model in such a way that the model can be used in next step of project if the project awarded. So the quantification can be done at any stage of project, and to prepare cost estimation, we may need some information like logistics costs, unit cost, labor costs and others. Now, the output from the model-based estimation can be generated as length and size of pipes, number of fittings, accessories, equipments, weight of duct in pounds, labor cost, fabrication, installation and others, material and material cost, liner and wrap cost, material scrap factors. So now Scott, you can take it forward and share the access to the Rob so that he can take it forward.
Okay, so from here we will transition over to Rob Lee for his portion of the webinar.
Hi everybody, thank you very much Scott for the introduction, and thank you Pankaj. I hope everyone is doing well, staying safe and staying healthy. For my portion of the presentation, we'll go ahead and go through to our next slide showing some case studies that we've done in partnership with one of our clients. So this particular case study, we're considering a plumbing bathroom group of 4 fixtures. We have put the information based in a total time savings by minutes. You can see our net time to complete was 19.3 minutes using a traditional method, which would be a hand type takeoff, versus our model-based estimation of 9.3 minutes. So that's about 48% faster estimating time, and then a total cost savings of labor cost savings for your estimator about 22%. Our next case study was a 1,250 square foot duplex architectural and structural building. You can see highlighted in red for a direct comparison, we had vertical constructions as our category, and then the contents were masonry isolation. A total time taken for a manual entry was about 450 minutes. And then in Revit, we were able to complete that same takeoff in 30 minutes. You can see the remainders, with the wall surface, which contains the plasters and paints, 330 minutes compared to 20 minutes, as well as the ceiling composition, total of 20 minutes versus 15 minutes. So our overall total for the manual time was 2,085 minutes versus our Revit time was only 340 minutes. So looking at it, that equates to roughly 30 hours of time savings for an individual to take this project off. That's about 512% less time. So one of the main things is how is the construction industry estimating today? So the answer really isn't simple. It seems to vary dependent upon company size and industry. Some are performing hand takeoffs using manual data entry methods to track quantities. Essentially, they're scaling off of PDF set of drawings, inputting that information into their format of an Excel spreadsheet, or I've actually seen some companies are just writing it on a piece of paper and handing it in. And of course, again, that all varies on the size of the company. Another common method that I've been seeing across the industry is a third-party software specifically for MEP contractors. It's a software that's designed specifically for estimating based off of 2D plans. And then of course we see 3D BIM software such as Revit taking a stronger hold within the estimating arena. So the estimating services provided by Pinnacle Infotech and the tools of our trade. For mechanical and plumbing, we have chosen to go with CodeSoft and utilize CodeSoft software. There are several different softwares available that are out there. If you possibly use a different software and are interested in working with us, we are more than happy to take a look at that software and see if there's a cost benefit, and do a cost analysis to join that or to use that software, to purchase that software, and then work with you in future on projects. Now the input type is contract plan documents in a PDF file format. The output, the deliverable from this type of software, is a detailed material takeoffs, including equipment quantities. These equipment quantities have direct links to major manufacturers such as Trane, York, a few others that we can list. We have the ability to add client-specific labor rates and custom quotes from various manufacturers. Complete bid tab utilizing Excel worksheets. We have the ability to import your customized bid tab, enabling a seamless transfer of information. So in the event that you do use a program such as CodeSoft and you have an extended template that you use that you've created, we have the ability to bring that in and train on that, and then provide that information back to you. And then of course there's also a change order management process and document comparison with CodeSoft. So as far as the sample of the output, or the screen that we look at, you can see this particular program is through CodeSoft. Once we insert the PDF, we can trace over the PDF. Everything's highlighted in blue, keeps a record track, or a track record of what we have covered and what we have estimated. Over on our right-hand panel, you can see the material type. This is specific to spiral pipe that we're taking off. Down below that picture of pipe are the SMACTA standards are labeled. We can import SMACTA standards, some of your shop standards. We can make modifications to some of that stuff as well. Below that, the information such as zone, sheet, and area can be listed.
and organized. And then below that is, furthermore, is a tool palette containing all of the specialized fittings that it takes to produce this type of product. So now for labor costs and mechanical equipment and accessories, along with a vendor sheet, you can see on the left-hand side, highlighted in blue, we have a small window pane all the way around. That's an area that we have selected, and then another window will pop up, and that will give us the exact amount that's contained within that section. So for this particular instance, we're looking at the material cost and labor breakout. So this example is showing that rectangle duct, as there's 169 pounds of rectangle duct with a fabrication hours of 4.635, the install of 5.4 hours, and there's a total of 9 pieces. Now, being said, with the fab hours and the install hours, we have the ability to customize those rates and input your shop specific standards or your company specific standards, or however you want to look at that number. Now on the other side, we show the round for a total of 37 pounds, fab hours 0.28, and install hours of 3.72. At the very bottom of the pop-out pane there is a total cost just for this specific amount of work that we're highlighting is $1,771.48. The accessories are showing up on the upper right-hand side. Vendor costs can be added depending on how you approach your accessory counts. Some companies will do a complete takeoff of all accessories, send it off to quote, depending on how many different manufacturers are allowed per specification or whoever they have buying agreements from. So we have the ability to take that information and then put it back into QuoteSoft and then prepare the estimate that way. QuoteSoft also has the ability for mechanical piping. It's very similar to the same methodology for the sheet metal. This database contained, it has tool palettes containing every part and piece that we use. It's based off of material types and specified labor factors. Now, with this ability, we do have the ability to use MCA labor rates and factors, or we can use the information that QuoteSoft provides within their program, and that's based off of their historical data that they gathered. As far as change order management, we have the ability to insert a PDF that has indicated changes and overlay them of a particular area. The new work is highlighted in red. That gives us an instant view of what has changed, and then we can add that to the takeoff as well. So the next method of estimating has been to quote, which is model-based estimation. The input are going to be Revit 3D BIM files, and our output information from Revit is going to be exported into material takeoff forms. There's an integration of API and Revit for estimation. API is the application program interface. An integration based on an API offers a very close link between software applications. For example, the Revit API allows independent software developers to create software programs that can access elements of the Revit building information model. So essentially what we can do is we can extract the information that's contained in the model, get the specific data out of it, depending if it's a wall type, masonry type, if it's a mechanical MEP system, whatever data is contained within that model, we can extract it and format it into a quantity takeoff. So integration of API and Revit estimation. This is our tool of choice that we use. This is what it looks like. It's a fairly easy window pane to follow. It integrates perfectly with RS means, data cost books, automatic overview of labor, materials, equipment. It's a well-known Office user interface, so it looks very similar to Microsoft Microsoft products such as Word, Excel. Configurable detailed assemblies, automatically display structure hierarchy. It's easy to set up with new slice and dice views. There's different arrangements that we can make. We can customize this data and put it in any arrangement that you would prefer to see. And it follows the project's main cost drivers. So you have the ability to separate things out and take a look and see where the bulk of your project is coming from versus what the minor pieces are. The ODBC connection is the Open Database Connectivity, so it's a vendor-neutral database access method. It acts as a translator between the application and database, reduce cost of application integration. True BIM tools track building information directly and communicate material quantities directly. Here's an example of an output of our reports coming from our 3D BIM quantity takeoff or estimate. You can see that it's listing the pipe size along with the pipe material type, telling exactly what it is, giving you the length, whatever the labor factor is, and again, that labor factor can be established for whatever you may want. You may want it to be 1.5, you may want it to be 0.85 or 0.75, whatever you need that to be. We can adjust that in order to get your overall unit price and total labor cost. And then our third method of estimating services is dealing with Fab Est or Fab MEP. They're two separate products, however, they're fairly similar. The input can be PDF or CAD files. This example I have shown on the bottom is a PDF that we've inserted. It's built off of a client-specific database, and the information can go directly to fabrication from this point. So now with this type of process, we can take and trace over a 2D outline of the material and automatically convert it into, not necessarily convert it, but place 3D objects and elements that contain specific data to fabrication for sheet metal. So they're based off of SMACNA standards. They carry the gauges, the specific gauges, specific flanges, connections, bracing, intermediate bracing, things of that nature. So with that said, that's the services that we offer, and we definitely look forward to being able to help you loop the BIM world into your company, and we definitely look forward to having an opportunity to work with you and become a better partner and build a bigger, stronger relationship by getting in sooner and helping you develop an accurate cost and alleviating some of the stress that most estimators find themselves in at the end of the week when it's Friday night and it's 8 o'clock and you still have 8 to 10 estimates that you need to push out. So we would like to be that person that can come in and help alleviate that. So with that said, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Mr. Scott Pittman, and we can start taking some questions.
Thank you, Rob, and Pankaj as well. So right now we're getting a lot of great questions, and I'm going to go ahead and start going through some of these and have Rob and Pankaj help answer some of these questions. So the first question is, what kind of input is required? How accurate can we estimate at a schematic or a 50% DD stage on a design build project? So Rob or Pankaj, if either one of those would like to take that.
Yeah, it can go either way. Typically, with a schematic, there's a couple different ways we can do it. Generally, we can insert that in and trace over it in a 3D platform. Spend a little bit of time developing it and put it into a Revit model based off of a database. So there's that option as well. There's a couple different things we can take a look at as well. We can plug the information in by hand within QuoteSoft, when it comes to a schematic detail. And then as far as design build concerned, there's a lot of legwork up front with that. Typically, we would be working hand in hand with the particular client and working with their design team or the design teams that are assigned with it through the general contractor or the owner to develop the overall process of the project. At that point, we would probably be taking a 2D PDF or even a CAD file or anything of that nature, and then connecting the dots. We'd be adding in and sizing the ductwork, the piping systems, adding accessories, reviewing fire smoke dampers, fire damper locations, same thing with valves, pumps, and all the other stuff. So we would assign a engineering specialty team that would go in that has experience with engineering services and provide the remaining portion for the design build. And then once we do that, then we input that information into either QuoteSoft or to Revit.
Very good. Pankaj, a question for you. How accurate are the API algorithms?
Yes, API algorithm is we can say in different way, like it based on the inputs, means if I relate to the first question, like if we receive the 50% design document, it depends on the, like API integration, it depends on the inputs, type of inputs what we receive. Like if we receive the 50% design document, then we have to consider certain things, like definitely at the time of bid we will not be receiving the detailed information about the material specification and others, so we have to consider some data based on our engineering consideration or something like this. But if we receive the information, it's like 100% construction documents, we can consider the API can be provide the accurate results. So it's based on the inputs, what type of inputs we are receiving to prepare the estimation.
Very good. And we do have a couple of people that have asked that they may want to speak as well. Kevin Shepard, I don't know if you're still available. If you would like to speak as well, we can unmute yourself and give you the opportunity. Are you there? Go on to the next question. All right, for Rob, it says, in the past I've encountered pushback from architect design teams on sharing their digital files for estimation process. Is there any additional work for the architects that need to be done to make their models biddable?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, a lot of it really depends on the time frame that the design team has to deal with their models and how, you know, what their level of accuracy is that they're supposed to deliver. And depending on how they're contracted, we can definitely dictate how the model is going to come to us. In that situation, we could take a look at it, see what the completeness is of the model, and then make a decision on whether or not we need to spend time on bringing it up to a higher level of detail in order to achieve what we want out of an estimating phase. So there's definitely going to be some variables that need to be discussed as far as partnerships and agreements between the design team and how that's going to be handled. Now, as far as the three methods that we use, you know, definitely with Revit, if they have it and they're at a level of detail that's within, you know, 75 to 85% accurate, it definitely makes sense to be able to have access to that model and then import that into, or use it in Revit and then export the information based off of the API. Now, as far as QuoteSoft's concerned, for the MEP side, we could definitely take the 2D documents and just trace over the top of them and then get a complete takeoff built using that method. Now, some of the general contractors for the architectural structural side are using different software platforms that do similar, have similar capabilities as QuoteSoft. So I would assume that a lot of those programs and software still use 2D capability. And as far as the CAD-S, it's the same process.
Very good. Pankaj, question for you. How much time will Pinnacle take to share a quote on a two-story commercial building around 100,000 square feet?
As I shared the information in my presentation, like the main part to prepare estimation, the first point is creating the database based on the
quote.
Yes.
So one day we can quote for the.
So the first part is the database. So it's a practice. Like if we have to prepare the database, it will take few time. But yes, for the estimation or quote, I think yes, we are capable to submit the file within one turnaround day. So one day is sufficient enough to submit the file.
Okay, this is Bimal here. I just wanted to add to what Pankaj said. So if you're asking for how much would be the price to quote to create the BOQ estimate, then we can do it in the next working day. I mean, But if to calculate the actual data, if you're looking at modeling the project and creating the BOQ, I think for a two-story commercial building of around 100,000 square feet, probably we can do it in 4 to 5 days, Pankaj.
So it's based on the requirements. Like if it is for bid presentation, where the estimation is required just to get a quantities and the lump sum estimation, yes, we can turn it down very quickly. But if you require the actual estimation with the help of manufacturer fittings and with your database, then it will take a little bit more time to prepare the database first. And this is only for the first time. So when we receive the repeat estimation, definitely it will not require much time, because we have our database prepared for your company and we can turn around the next job very quickly. So it's based on the scope, what actually you are looking for.
Very good. And to go along with that, Rob, I got one for you. It says, do I need to own or buy QuoteSoft or FabEst for model-based estimation, or can I just hire Pinnacle and expect to receive the accurate cost and quantity info?
Yeah, you don't have to purchase any additional software to make this happen. We own our own licensing, have our own platforms, and we can provide you the information directly out of it. And as far as accuracy is concerned, we strive to get as accurate as we possibly can. However, sometimes there are some differences in estimators, and how estimators like to look at things a little differently, and how we organize information. So we definitely do like to work with our clients and get familiar with how you want to see the information presented to you, how you specifically do your takeoffs. That helps us deliver a higher quality and higher level of accuracy within what we do, within what we provide.
Very good. Let's see, there's a lot of great questions. I'm just trying to pan through some of them to make sure I kind of get everybody covered. For Rob or Pankaj, here's the one. It's what's the accuracy and percentage of the quantity estimation guaranteed, or generated from the 3D model created for bidding presentation purposes?
I'd say that's probably a twofold question. Again, the information that we're extracting out of the model is only going to be as accurate as what's in the model. I would say a lot of times the accuracy can actually exceed that of a hand takeoff or just looking at a set of plans, because we do have a better picture of what's going on in the model in the 3D world. We have a better eyesight on vertical risers, offsets, things of that nature. So I would say in the Revit world, if we had 100% accurate information in the design model coming from the supplier of that, we would definitely, I would say your accuracy is about 99%, if not higher in that case. And then as far as like a QuoteSoft takeoff, tracing that is going to be extremely accurate, just as accurate as it would be if you did a hand takeoff. Again, there's going to be some assumptions made on vertical rises, offsets of that nature, but we generally try to cover that. So as long as we have good, clean information to work with, our accuracy is high. And then if the information isn't clean, then we're going to do whatever we can to get it to the level that it needs to be, so we can be as accurate as possible.
Very good. Again, a lot of great questions. Continue to keep coming in. So let me just, like I say, I'm trying to stay on top of all these as they do come in. A quick one here. Is there an add-on or plugin for QuoteSoft in Revit, or do they need to import the files into Revit?
No, there actually is a plugin that we're actually pursuing right now. I'm receiving a training on that next week with QuoteSoft to discuss that plugin, a very specific plugin, and see exactly how it works and how we can utilize that as well.
Very good. And I know that some of the clients that we've worked with, I know we've worked with a few mechanical contractors so far, doing some estimation for them. We're actually working for a fabrication company, and Rob, maybe if you can talk a little bit about how you're working with them on the estimation side.
Yeah, sure. So essentially what we're doing is we're receiving 2D PDF plan files from a specific sheet metal fabricator, and we are tracing over that. We're inserting that information into FabEst, and utilizing their database, we are tracing over the top of the plans and adding the 3D objects from the database, and then generating quantity takeoffs and fabrication reports based off of that information. It's actually a really seamless transition of information. We receive basically an email with a set of plans that specifically states out and lists what the specifications are, what services need to be drawn, and what their specifications are to that service and how they want the job broken out. And we generally turn some of that stuff around within, usually with some of the smaller stuff within a day, 5 to 7 hours, we can have it turned around. We have some of our larger projects that are roughly a week. And so we work hand in hand with this client, and we discuss how long it will specifically take to do this project. And that's how we kind of negotiate the hours and time associated with it.
Good. Of the three methods you mentioned, which is the most accurate and time and cost efficient?
Ooh, boy, I would say the most accurate and cost effective is going to be a Revit model. Yep, I would definitely say that is going to be the most cost effective, because once it's there, then it's just a matter of extracting the information out and generating a few reports. So from the first case study that we had shown, you could see that there was definitely some significant time differences between the manual entry versus a Revit entry. For example, I think some of the walls and masonries that we were showing like 430 minutes worth of time to do takeoff on wall assemblies, versus in Revit we just extracted the information and we were done in 10 to 15 minutes.
Very good.
Yeah. So I would like to add one point here, Scott. Like, the best feature of Revit is maybe at the time of bidding, we can prepare the quantities with the help of generic fittings and pipes. But when we receive the information at the time of execution, if the project is awarded, we can convert this Revit model with the help of some add-ins from generic to manufactured fitting. So this is the great advantage for Revit. We can utilize the model at any stage with the generic to convert it from the manufactured fittings.
Pankaj, I have another one here for you. It says, how do you manage local code and regulations in your design and estimates?
I'm sorry, Scott, can you say that one again? Your microphone kind of broke up a little bit.
Yeah, it says, how do you manage local code and regulations in your design and estimation?
Again, the codes and the specification is totally based on the scope of work, what you are looking for. We do have in Pinnacle, we do have an experienced team over here. We are working in this industry from last 25 years. So more or less for North America region, we do have knowledge for the local codes and others. So we can apply those codes. Only we need to know what the scope of work for the estimation. If it is at the time of bidding stage, we will try to apply those codes, but it will not be fruitful at the time of bidding stage. But yes, if it is at the time of construction, if someone is trying to quantify the estimation with the help of budget, try to compare the estimate, then you definitely will try to apply the local code and the specification in the estimation.
Right, and I know that we also during our kickoff sessions before we start projects, certain areas have multiple codes that we have to comply to, where it may be in California, we have certain California code, we have the plumbing code, we have airport codes. So there's a lot of projects, there may be 3 or 4 different code sessions that we have to deal with. So we identify those early on. If we go to a certain area, we do work up in British Columbia. The British Columbia plumbing code is different than the IPC. So we actually take that on and train our team so they're familiar with the different codes in the different areas as well.
Yes, means at the time of BIM execution process, we do generally follow all the local codes. Maybe if it is a international plumbing code or uniform plumbing code, or maybe from California or UK plumbing code. Yes, we do have a good experience on the code. We do generally follow these codes at the time of execution process. So it's not a matter at the time of estimation, we can use the code if it is required, based on the detailing how much it's required.
In the traditional design build project, oftentimes the equipment and the spec submittals are not decided till the subs are on board. Is the cost savings more for the GC or for the sub?
That's a really good question. I'm trying to think of how best to answer that. I'd say there's cost savings for essentially everybody all the way across the board. I would say probably with a subcontractor or a mechanical contractor, probably you would see the larger savings associated with them, more so than with the general contractor.
Right, I agree.
A lot of mechanical contractors have different buying power and different agreements and pricing agreements within specific manufacturers to where they can negotiate the pricing along with the help from us to develop the equipment standards and be able to have some different options available for equipment purchases.
I know we're getting close on time, so I'll go with let's see here, one more good question. In what stage of pre-construction or construction should I use model-based estimation? What should the LOD level be of the 3D model to consider model-based estimation?
For LOD level,
Go ahead, Pankaj.
yeah, for LOD level, we do generally prefer to extract estimation from LOD 400 because LOD 400 is a kind of a fabrication model we do generally consider. So it will give 100% accurate quantity takeoffs, but with the help of 300 or 350, we can extract the BOQ as well.
Very good. Well, once again, I want to thank everybody for attending our webinars. Thank Rob and Pankaj for your time, and thank you so much for being part of this as well. If you have any questions concerning the estimation or any of the other webinars that you've seen so far for the last couple of weeks, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at any time. We would love to do if we can do go-to meetings, WebEx, anything like that to help support your needs. We would very much look forward to that. So with that said, Bimal, I don't know if you have anything else to close it out.
No, Scott, I think it was well presented, and the audience also asked a lot of interesting questions. The only thing I can say is that model-based estimation is bringing a paradigm shift, and we have seen a lot of success with a lot of companies. And as Pankaj explained, we create the database for once for any company because normally they use some standard fittings and accessories and equipments. So based on that, so that's a one-time effort, but then for every project that they estimate, the same database can be used at the estimation stage, and based on the input drawings, the tender drawings, we can create a very accurate estimate at a much lesser time. And I think the panelists have explained it very well, the process, the advantages, and we'll be very happy to share our codes and case studies on that. So please write to us if you want, if you have any if you want any questions. We'll be happy to share more details with you. Thank you. Thank you, Scott.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. And for those questions that we didn't get answered, we will reply back to everybody. And again, thank you so much and have a great day.